Hello, good day. We are the group 3 and our topic is all about understanding hypermedia. Objectives. At the end of this lesson, the student shall be able to define hypermedia, discuss hypermedia characteristic, and integrate hypermedia in a teaching or learning process. Hypermedia is a term created by Ted Nelson in 1965. He is an American pioneer of information technology, philosopher, and sociologist. What is hypermedia? So hypermedia is a computer-based information retrieval system that enables a user to gain or access to text, audio, and video recordings, photographs, and computer graphics. It's related to a particular subject. Hypermedia is anything that allows the users to gather information in a non-linear way. This means that the user has a choice as to what path he or she takes in order to gather information. So the user has the option of skipping certain items or can go through every piece of information that is listed. Multimedia versus hypermedia. So what is the difference between multimedia and hypermedia? Multimedia is the use of computer or related devices to present text, audio, video, animation interaction features, and still images. While hypermedia is the use of text, data, graphics, audio, and video as elements of an extended hypertext system in which all elements are linked, where the content is accessible via hyperlink. In contrast, hypermedia is a type of multimedia application in which the multimedia parts are linked using hyperlinks over the internet.
So, good day everyone, I'm Jeffrey Muad. So, my report is all about example of hypermedia. So, the World Wide Web or WWW is the best example of hypermedia application. Through WWW, it is possible to deliver hypertext, graphics, animation, and sound between different computer environments. This is because World Wide Web or WWW have the following: links that view audio, links that view image, links that view video, hypertext links to other locations. Most web navigation is done by clicking text-based links that open new pages in a web browser. These links, which are often blue and underlined, are referred to as hypertext. Since they allow the user to jump from page to page, hypermedia is an extension of hypertext that allow images, movies, and flash animations to be linked to other content. The most common type of hypermedia is an image link. Photos or graphics on the web are often linked to other pages. For example, clicking a small thumbnail image may open a larger version of the picture in a new Windows. So next is the other example of hypermedia. So the other example of hypermedia is the flight simulator. It is used to train pilots as an example of highly developed hypermedia. So flight simulators or flight training devices are the vital tools for the individual who are training to become pilots. So flight simulator is an example of a highly developed hypermedia. They use augmented simulations to practice through cloud-based technology. Flight simulator sends data to the computer or console in the real time. With the AI being, it utilized to extrapolate geometry from a blend of satellite and flyover imagery. This is an example of flight simulator.
Good day everyone, I am Renal Lehman and I am the next reporter. My part is about the 3 characteristics of hypermedia. The first one is learner control. Second, variety of media. Third, learner wide range of navigation routes. So let us first discuss the first one, the learner control. Learner control This means the learner makes his own decisions on the path, flow, or events of instructions. The learner has control such aspects of sequence, keys, content, media, feedback, etc. that she encounter in the hypermedia learning program. She has the option to repeat and change span if desired. Of course, as a start, the learner may choose the learning activities she prefer. Meanwhile, the teacher has the prerogative to determine the suitable learning objectives. The second characteristics of hypermedia is the variety of media. Hypermedia includes more than one media: text, graphics, audio, animation, and video clip, but does not necessarily use all types of media in one presentation. Since only virtual learning activity takes place, it is important from the standpoint of the teacher to optimize the learning process by identifying the characteristics of media application as well as the advantage and limitations of such applications.
Learner's wide range of navigation route. For the most part, the learner controls the sequence and pace of path depending on his or her ability and motivation. So at the start, the students may choose his or her learning activity that he or she prefers. Meanwhile, the teacher is tasked to determine the suitable learning objectives. Nowadays, learners can easily access to the different application, and because of that, the interaction of the learners to the application, he or she have the control to that application. That's why we are told on how to create a Google Meet link, because there are some that don't know how to interact with this app. Advantage of hypermedia. So hypermedia can more effective than traditional school by keeping students' attention easier. Students became more involved in their learning process. The information is accessed more quickly. Then, the researcher can quickly trace references both backward and forward. The students can browse material and find new information as a subject area is explored. Teachers can use hypermedia to meet the learning styles of all students. With hypermedia, students can create their own adventures.
Okay, next is the disadvantages of hypermedia. We know that hypermedia have a lot of advantages. Hypermedia is easily to browse. The references can be traced both backward and forward. Information can be structured in a variety of ways and it is fun to use. But hypermedia have disadvantages. Hypermedia can be that users may browse hastily. Also, there are instances where the links are broken. The problem of hypermedia is the distractions. When students get lost from their purpose or assignment, information presented in a non-linear format may be presented in a more complex form. Problems or distraction occurs when students or user notice too many relevant topics to explore in a parallel or too many interesting things that distracts attention away from the main tasks.
So good morning everyone, I am Maris Perez Gimbal and I am the last reporter. So hypermedia in education. Hypermedia systems are used in educational environment. The active participation of students is one of the major advantages of hypermedia system. Hypermedia enables students to explore and construct their own learning. This method of learning breaks down the barriers of time and place, allowing maximum flexibility for the learner. Students are provided a means to learn individually at their own speed. Students can repeat difficult concepts or skip already mastered skill areas. Hypermedia improves the depth and breadth of teaching, changes the teaching content, teaching methods, and so on. which eventually leads to a fundamental change in education, concept, teaching theory, and even the whole educational system. Hypermedia is particularly appropriate for the production of interactive and exploratory educational applications where large number of links and cross-reference learner can explore his or her own interest according to previous experience, background, and perspective. Hypermedia can help students achieve a wide variety of goals in education. For example, first, develop high-order thinking skills. Second, develop group and interpersonal skills. Third, learn content in a given discipline. And lastly, develop technical skills. Technical skills is one of the most important things that the student should develop, and the teacher is one of the instruments that would help them achieve those things. These skills involve the ability to communicate and build relationships with others. Often called people skills, they tend to incorporate both your innate personality, traits, and how you've learned to handle certain social situations. Effective interpersonal skills can help you during the job interview process and can have a positive impact on your career advancement. Disciplinary content knowledge can be thought of as an individual's understanding of subject matter, concept, and how this concept relate to form the larger body of knowledge. Technical skills are the specialized knowledge and expertise required to perform specific tasks and use specific tools and programs in real-world situations. Diverse technical skills are required in just about every field and industry, from IT and business administration to healthcare and education.